I posted a picture on Facebook recently of a big family dinner from 35 plus years ago. And a friend of mine decided she'd be hilarious, and so she zoomed in on my little kid face, cropped it out, and has since been repeatedly sending it back to me over text with encouragements to tap back into that little kid fire. And at first I was horrified, and then I laughed, but then it unexpectedly kind of caught me in my feels, you know? There was something about looking into the eyes of little kid me that made me remember a state of innocence or lightness that all these years later often feels long gone. You know, there were things that had not yet happened in life to dim the light in that little girl's eyes, and I could feel it. There was something about looking at that image and really seeing her, seeing me, in that childlike light that I'd forgotten, that has been working to reconnect something in me. Tom mentioned earlier the verse from 1 John 3 that says, "See what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God." And that is what we are. And the mess of life often writes all kinds of stories about who and what we are onto our hearts and our minds. Those stories are often filled with negative and untrue things. If your life and childhood have held a lot of trauma, that's likely especially true. And yet, our core identity, our base foundation, is that we are the absolutely cherished, loved beyond measure, perfectly designed in brilliant light and unending goodness, children of God. That's who we are, stunning, pure, whole, and holy. At your core, that's who you are. I don't know if that's what you think every morning when you wake up and look in the mirror, though. You know, it should be. It could be. If we learn to practice filling our minds with the truth that comes from God instead of the relentless stories from the world. So that's what we're going to practice doing right now. So start by just closing your eyes. Take a few slower, deeper breaths. Just try to tune out any distractions around you. This is just how we start to enter a more contemplative space. Then I want you to try to summon in your mind an image of yourself from childhood, one that feels good. I don't know how far back you'll have to go for that. You know, many of our stories have childhood pain. Mine does too. But we're not looking for that right now. Right now, look for an image of yourself where you can see and sense joy and that lightness. It might be from your own memory, might be a picture you've seen. Maybe you have to go all the way back to picturing yourself as a newborn baby. Try to pull an image up in your mind and then let yourself really look into the eyes of childlike you for a minute. Let yourself feel that state of inherent pure goodness. Let yourself feel delight in that spunky or shy or sweet or strong kid that you were. Just try that for a minute. And now, keeping that child you in your focus, I want to read some of God's words about how loved you are. As I do, just notice how hard or easy it feels to believe them about the child you. Maybe even say a quiet yes or yeah to yourself after each one to help yourself kind of get it. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. And this is God speaking. I have loved you with an everlasting love. I've drawn you with unfailing kindness. You keep close watch over me as the apple of your eye. You shelter me in the shadow of your wings. And you have not received a spirit that makes you fearful slaves. Instead, you've received God's Spirit when He adopted you as His own children. Now we call Him Abba, Father. And again, see what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God. And that is what we are. Amen. Now, there really aren't two yous. That child you is the very same you that you see every morning in the mirror. All of you is still in there. But our conscious minds probably need to be reminded of that true inner goodness on a way more regular basis than we're used to doing. And so I'd encourage you today to go and actually find a picture of yourself from childhood, one that speaks to you of that child of God, perfect innate goodness, and then set it out somewhere where you will actually see it every day this week. And then take a minute each morning to pause, to look yourself in the eyes, and to remind your whole self that you are God's cherished kid, and that nothing in this world can separate you from that fierce parental love.